Hey everybody, Alex Kazor, SteelersDepot.com, back to do another video, another talk to the tape. I know we discussed special teams last time, which is certainly not everybody's cup of tea, not really the main part of the ball I'm sure anyone was interested in talking about after Sunday's loss to Baltimore, so I wanted to come back, talk about the defense, certainly a more pertinent and pressing subject that I'm sure you guys would be more interested than hearing me ramble on about Danny Smith and special teams and bump block schemes. So, looking today is the Steelers defense, and as the title suggests, and we'll jump right into this, three plays that showed while the Steelers defense might have looked decent on a box score, and yes, they held the Ravens to a bunch of field goals in the second half, and you can assign blame for whether this loss to Baltimore was the offense or defense. It's both, and I don't really care about the percentages of it. This is a defense that could have allowed a lot more, and this game could have looked a lot worse when you really dig into the all-22 and what went down. We already know that this team had the forced fumble on the goal line that I think Sensabaugh got the credit for, and Sean Davis was there to prevent it from being a 21-3 game. But a couple more plays that could have again made this score look even more lopsided, and the Ravens' victory all the more impressive. Top of the screen here, first quarter. Probably saw this one live. A wide open Michael Crabtree working against Joe Hayden on a double move. I forget what the down and distance is. Actually, I can pull that up after we discuss this play at the stick. So it's well executed by Baltimore. Hayden sitting, thinking that Hayden thinking that Crabtree is running a curl at the sticks. Hayden trying to jump it, hit him with a double move. Great timing there. Joe Flacco simply just misses this one if it connects. Obviously, it's a touchdown. At this point, I believe it's a 14-6 game, 14-0 game. I'll have to check that too. But definitely it was 14 something, and then that really kind of blows this one open. The saving grace here was a little bit of the pressure from Cam Hayward that I think maybe influenced the overthrow a tiny bit. Straight bull rush here from Hayward. You get Dupree getting a little bit of pressure too, working against the right tackle James Hurst here. Get this overload look. Hurst doesn't play it well. Dupree with a good rush here to knock Hurst off balance. So a little bit of pressure maybe right there. You see Flacco get bumped. Creates that overthrow. But if the pressure isn't there, or if Flacco's able to make a good throw despite the pressure, gone. Touchdown Ravens, no doubt about that one. We all saw that one live. But, nickel pressure from Cam Sutton doesn't get home. Hayden gets burnt. And would have been a huge play had Flacco just simply been able to execute. And again, the pressure probably played a small role into that as well, or a role into that. Maybe I don't want to say small role, but yeah, 3rd and 8. So again, you're running it to the sticks, and it's 14-0, so it would have made it 21-0. So it's a good execution, a good idea from Baltimore, because again, you're getting that corner to think, okay, it's 3rd and 8, running to the sticks. That's where the route's going to be. But then Crabtree pulls off the double move and burns him. Now, one thing to note. Last thing as we jump into our next play is that Atlanta actually runs a decent amount of double moves. They've gotten some big plays off of that, or some close to big plays. So something to keep in mind there, that I'm sure Atlanta sees this and realizes how close Baltimore was to hitting on it. And they're probably going to try one. Test these corners, see if they've adjusted. And if not, then they're going to get burnt again. Next one here, 2nd down play. These are all actually to Michael Crabtree. The 3 plays we're discussing here are all intended for Crabtree. That was not my intention. That's just how things turned out. But zone coverage here from the Steelers. Looks like cover 3, a 3 deep zone. And against empty again. Steelers have done a terrible job of defending empty. They have no good answers, no good checks for empty set this year. And you get Crabtree wide open middle of the field and just drops the pass. This was a 2nd and 8. Would have been an easy conversion. Baltimore ends up punting on this drive. We'll look at the end zone angle as well. Again, it's tough to deal with, but you just got guys running free in zone coverage. Should have been a huge play. I mean, got a linebacker there, Bostic, but I think Crabtree can probably just cut up field and avoid him. Just simply drops the pass. Go from the aerial look again. You got Vince Williams expanding on the slant here. You got the trips to the bottom, so Bostic's turning his hips to the trips. There's no one in this middle window here. I'm not really sure exactly who's to blame here, if there's really anybody to blame here, if it's just the Ravens exploiting the Steelers' zone coverage. Again, cover 3. It's going to be a 4 under, 3 deep zone. You got 5 receivers to defend. Generally, somebody has a good chance to be open in that situation. You get the round combination expands Williams. The vertical here by number 3, or at least a vertical stem, even though it's run on a curl, brings Bostic. Leaves Crabtree wide open. He catches it here. He's got a lot of grass. I mean, there's the first down marker there. He's going to get that easily. Doesn't work out. Turns into a 3rd and 8. And they don't convert. And the Steelers have to punt. Cam Hayward looks... I'm not sure if he's angry about something on this play or if he's communicating something else. But wide open play there. Yeah, Hayward's motioned in something. But I'm not sure what exactly it was. But again, that could have at least kept the drive alive. Put up more points. This was a 14-6 game at this point. They end up punting. Steelers get the ball back, and that's how they tied things up. So if that pass is just simply caught, who knows what happens from there. Last one to look at. Again, dealing with Michael Crabtree. I get that you can go through pretty much any defense on any given week and take out a couple plays that, had something else happen. It had been a slightly different outcome. It had been big plays. But when you're looking at this Steelers defense and you're trying to evaluate their play right now, even the positive plays, the net positive plays, there's still a lot of problems in them too. And it's a defense that is now going to face a really high-powered Atlanta offense that is probably going to capitalize on those plays that any good offense is going to capitalize on. So that's why I'm bringing it to attention. I did this last year, and I should probably just get to this play, then I'll do my wrap-up here at the end. But this is a 19-yard gain, so it's still a negative play for the defense. Running play action here. Watch the bottom here. Crabtree against Artie Burns. Burns just getting beat. Everybody's rolled up. Everyone's tight to the line of scrimmage. They rotate late a little bit. You get some of these guys sucked up on play action. Davis coming down on play action. It's a single high look. And then Burns simply just never opens his hips against Crabtree, who's running his post to the middle of the field. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know how you don't open your hips. I don't know why you're trying to punch at this point. Maybe he's just trying to hold him because he realizes he's beat. And Crabtree would have been wide open, but because Nick Boyle was so wide open, Flacco just hits him instead, turns into a 19-yard gain. So you got just multiple players wide open on this play. And luckily, again, Steelers kind of getting a little bit lucky here, that Flacco doesn't see it, hits the underneath route, and that is still a really positive play for Baltimore, but this would have been a touchdown versus what the Ravens ultimately got, which was a field goal. So again, you see the play action here. Cam Sutton bites really hard on it, opens up the over route here for Nick Boyle. Wide open, clean pocket, 4-man rush, bodies on the ground, no pressure. And that's wide open. But they should have been a touchdown. When you hear Joe Flacco talk about they could have had 40 points in this game, or they could have put up a lot of points in this one day. Brian has talked about it as well. This is what we're talking about. The technique here from Burns. I mean, that's not ideal. We'll say that. You're playing off coverage. You have a cushion. He's patterning his feet. He just looks uncomfortable, and he just never opens his hips. Lets Crabtree eat up all that cushion. Just doesn't do it until Crabtree is there. And as the saying goes, if they're even, they're leaving. And my goodness, Michael Crabtree was leaving. And he's not a particularly fast guy. I mean, he's not a 4.4 speedster. Burns is a 4.4 speedster. So just technique winning. And you can see Crabtree knows he's got it. You see him kind of throw his head back on this one, realizes the Flacco went underneath on that play. Because if Flacco even just catches that out of the corner of his eye, that's 6. There's no safety help. Davis is up on it. It's single high to begin with. So that could have been a touchdown, and at the time, a dagger. This was what's the score here? 20-14. This would have made it 27-14 with under 7 to go. Two-score game. I guess at that point it's not over, but certainly would have felt like a dagger. So, like I was saying before this play, I had a video similar to this last year of the Steelers giving up stuff over the top. Offenses weren't taking advantage of it. And I said, if this continues, eventually, you're only going to get lucky for so long. And eventually offenses are going to start hitting you vertical because you're giving it. And there's potential for big plays every single game that just weren't being capitalized on. And that's what happened at the end of the year, was that offenses were finally capitalizing on it. And the defense ended up looking a lot worse in the beginning of the year, but honestly, they were kind of the same. They definitely got worse, especially post Ryan Shazier, but the big plays that they gave up in the second half of the year were the same plays that were open the first half of the year. Offenses just simply missed it for drops or bad throws, or just didn't see it, for whatever reason, because the read wasn't, the progression wasn't to where whoever got open. So that was the concern then. It showed itself when those games really counted. And you're seeing some similar here from a defense that now everyone knows is struggling the way that it is. But those same issues are coming up. And like I said, when you're facing an Atlanta team that's putting up, I think they're 5th in points per game, They're not going to miss on that stuff. Baltimore, whose offense isn't as talented, they might miss a little bit. You might have some margin of error against the Ravens offense, although they put up a lot of points too, but they're just objectively not as good as Atlanta. But Atlanta's not going to kind of give you that margin of error, not going to give you that leeway. So it's a shootout Sunday when Atlanta comes to town, and I hope the Steelers offense can get their butt in gear and matching point for point. And then it comes down to situational football, someone making a play at the right time, likely in the second half or fourth quarter. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below, whether you're watching on YouTube, Steelers Depot, or following me on Twitter at Alex_Kozora. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.